So real quick before we get into this album review was requested by my good buddies Nate Plouffe, aka Stupid Beagle Reviews, and Jackson Fulcher. They both wanted me to review this album, so this review is for you guys, and hopefully you enjoy it. Hey, what's up, you guys? FilmFan0599 here again, and welcome back to the Universe of the BlueTubers. And today on Universe of the BlueTubers, I'm going to be reviewing Seth MacFarlane's In Full Swing. So Seth MacFarlane's In Full Swing is a 2017 released album and is the fourth studio album from jazz artist Seth MacFarlane. So, In Full Swing, I really didn't have any expectations really going into this. I didn't even know, he was releasing a new album until, I think Nate mentioned it, I believe. I was like, oh, he's, releasing a new album. Now, I really never got into his music per se. I know mostly I know Seth MacFarlane for, of course, being, the creator of Family Guy, voice actor and all that. That's where I mostly know him for. And I've heard his music is pretty good, like I keep on mentioning Nate, Jackson, they told me a lot about his music. And jazz is not necessarily a genre I really listen to all the time, but there are good artists from that genre, and I have enjoyed the music that I've heard from it. So going into this album, I didn't really have that much expectations going into it, but I was hoping maybe it could be a nice little surprise, and it exactly was that. I did really enjoy this album a lot more than I thought I was going to. It is a very solid album. I did quite enjoy Seth MacFarlane's In Full Swing. So let's get into what I liked about this album so much. Let's first talk about the production with this album. The production is very solid with this. Has that very jazz feel with it. The simple, hitting of the cymbals. You got the nice big trumpets. You got the nice groovy bass. You've got your things that you have in your jazz music and all that, and it really works. I really like the production on it. A lot of the instrumentation really works with a lot of the songs. Seth MacFarlane sounds really great. He does a fantastic job. He does actually have a really nice voice. And I thought his vocal work was really great on this. I did quite enjoy his vocal work on this album a lot. And yeah, just overall the production is very, very solid on this. Now onto the songs, as I want to talk about some of the songs that I really liked off of this. First being the opening track to this, The First Time It Happens. Wow, what a way to start off the album. Fantastic opening track. I love The First Time It Happens. This is definitely a great way to start off an album. It's such a great album opener. I love how it just begins, and really I love Seth MacFarlane's voice on here. He does a really fantastic job with his vocal work on this song. He just does such a great job. I love the bombastic trumpets that are in this song. They're really, really great. So yeah, overall, this is a really fantastic song that really just kick-starts the album very, very well to me. Really starts off the album very nicely. It's a really great opening track. Definitely one of my favorites off of the album for sure. And then you got the lead single, That Face, and I can definitely see why he went with this as the lead single, because it is a really great song. I love the opening bass line to it. You hear the bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. You just hear that little bit of the opening of the bass a little bit, and it's just great. I love the feel that the song has. It's really fantastic. I definitely could see why he went with this as the lead single for this album, because it is really great. I do quite like that song a lot. And something like you couldn't make me more happy, or something like that. Oh, You Can't Love 'Em All. That's what it was. You Can't Love 'Em All is another great one that I quite like a lot. Definitely another fantastic track. But my favorite track, I want to say, out of any of the songs off this album, is If I Had a Talking Picture of You. That's by far my favorite song off of this entire album. It's definitely the one that I have come back to the most off of anything, because it's really great. I love Nora Jones, I believe that's her name. I love her feature on this. Like, I love the chemistry between both her and Seth MacFarlane on this song. They definitely do have some great chemistry with each other, and the way that they blend their voices together is really, really nice. And I love the lyrics to that song a lot. They are really, really great. It's just a really fantastic song. Like, what really makes that song work so much to me is that chemistry between both Seth MacFarlane and Nora Jones on the song. I do think they have some pretty solid chemistry with each other. I love how the voices blend together and everything. And Nora Jones does sound great on the song as well. I do think she was a very great feature. Definitely one of the best features I've seen all year, for sure, definitely, because man, does she really add a lot to the song. And Seth MacFarlane does a great job too. Like, his vocal work is very fantastic on the song as well. So yeah, that's definitely my favorite song off of anything off of this album. It's definitely, if I had Talking Picture of You was song, definitely the one I've been coming back to the most off of anything off of this album. But Beautiful is another one, which I think should have been the closing track for this album. I really think But Beautiful should have really been the closing track off this album, because it really does have that feel of a closing track. Really, it's very slow, very mellow for the most part. It really is. And then when you kind of get the end, it's just a really nice, really slow song. I really like it a lot, and Seth MacFarlane's nice smoothing voice really helps a lot with the tone of the song. And I think it really works, honestly. I really love how he kind of just puts that with the song, and it just really blends well together with the tone and the feel of the song. I really love that a lot, and really shows a lot of his vocal range as well in the song, because like he does in the song, I Will Never Let You Go, like he just, when he says go, like he holds it for so long. Like, what vocal range, like that was just incredible. Like, I was seriously, when I heard that for the first time, I was like really stunned, because I was like, whoa, he can do that. That's quite fantastic. So yeah, But Beautiful I really think should have been the closing track. It really does have a closing track type of feel to it. Not saying the closing track that is on this album that wasn't bad or anything. I do like My Buick, My Love and I. That is a nice little fast-paced little tone of a jazz song that I love, like jazz songs like that as well, where they're very fast-paced in tone, like the instrumentation, like very fast bass, very fast trumpets. Like, it's just very fast-paced. And not saying that isn't a bad closing track. I think it does close the album on a good note, but I really think But Beautiful would have left a really big impact as a closing track, really. So yeah. Some songs I didn't necessarily really care for were If Only There's You, I believe that's what the song is called, and Have You Met Miss Jones. Those are really only the two tracks I didn't really necessarily care for. They're fine. They're not necessarily bad tracks, but they're definitely something I could just kind of bypass if I'm, like, just casually listening to this. They're just kind of the weaker tracks off of this, and the only ones that I really didn't necessarily enjoy. Like I said, they're not bad tracks. They're just kind of fine, alright tracks. And lastly, that the album can get a little bit repetitive in its instrumentation a little bit, and that's really the only issues that I have with this album per se. Besides that, I really enjoyed it. It was a nice little surprise. I did quite enjoy this album a lot. It is a very solid jazz album. I do quite like it a lot. So it's time for my official rating on Seth MacFarlane's In Full Swing, and my official rating on Seth MacFarlane's In Full Swing is a nice 3.5 out of 5. It's a really solid album. I really liked it a lot. Definitely has some great instrumentation to it. Seth MacFarlane's vocals sound really fantastic on it. A lot of the songs are really great. I did quite enjoy this album a lot, and it's definitely something I can see myself coming back to here and there again. So yeah, Seth MacFarlane's In Full Swing gets a 3.5 out of 5. So if you have listened to Seth MacFarlane's In Full Swing, what did you think of it? Leave it in the comment section below, and I'm FilmFan0599, and we will see you all later. Peace.